One single mistake cost a poor man an entire kingdom forever. He thought he was stealing a fortune, but one twist of fate changed his life in a way he never imagined. In a dusty, forgotten corner of the world, there lived a young man named Jake. Jake wasn't famous, and he certainly wasn't rich. In fact, his life was a constant, exhausting uphill battle. The sun would rise, and Jake would be out on the streets, his shoes worn thin, looking for any odd job just to put a meager plate of food on his table. But despite the hunger that often kept him awake at night, Jake owned something valuable: his pride. He told himself every single day, "I may be poor, but I am clean. I don't lie, I don't steal, and I sleep with a clear conscience." One particularly hot and exhausting afternoon, the world seemed a little heavier than usual. Jake had walked for miles without earning a single penny. His legs ached, his throat was dry, and his spirit was crushing under the weight of failure. He turned toward home, his head hanging low, ready to accept another hungry night. That was when a scratchy, weak voice broke the silence. "Excuse me, young man. Is there any kindness left in this town? Can someone help an old soul?" Jake stopped and turned around. Standing by the dusty roadside was an old man, looking frail and worn out by time. His clothes were ragged, and he looked like he hadn't eaten in days. But what caught Jake's eye wasn't just the man's wrinkles. It was what sat at his feet. There were 3 massive leather duffel bags. They looked ancient, battered, but they were stuffed to the brim. Jake wiped the sweat from his forehead and walked over, offering a kind smile. "I can help, sir. What do you need?" The old man smiled weakly, leaning on his walking stick. "I need to get to the village across the river. My legs are giving up on me. I can manage 2 of these bags, but the third one, it's like trying to lift a mountain. If you carry it for me, I will pay you 3 gold coins." 3 gold coins. That was more money than Jake had seen in 6 months. It meant food, rent, and maybe even a new pair of shoes. He nodded immediately. "Consider it done." But the moment Jake hoisted that first bag onto his shoulder, his knees almost buckled. It wasn't just heavy, it was dense. They began to walk. The road was long, and the sun was unforgiving. As they trudged along, kicking up dust, Jake felt the old man's eyes drilling into him. It felt like he was being scanned. Jake thought to himself, "He's watching me closely. He probably thinks I'm going to run off with his money just because I look poor." Soon, the sound of rushing water filled the air. They had reached the riverbank. The water was choppy, cold, and moving fast. Jake didn't hesitate. He stepped in, the water swirling around his ankles, ready to cross. But the old man stood frozen on the dry land, looking terrified. "I can't do it," the old man called out, his voice trembling against the roar of the water. "If I step in there with these 2 bags, the current will take me. I'll drown. Young man, please, can you carry a second bag for me? I will give you 3 more gold coins." Jake looked at the shivering old man. It was an easy yes. 6 gold coins could change his life completely. But before Jake could grab the second bag, the old man grabbed his arm. His grip was surprisingly tight, his eyes intense. "Look me in the eye," the old man said seriously. "Promise me you won't run. This bag isn't filled with bronze. It is filled with silver coins." They finally made it across, dripping wet, and stood at the base of a steep, rocky hill. This was the final stretch. Jake started climbing, his breathing heavy and loud. He looked back and saw the old man sitting on a rock at the bottom. "Are you coming?" Jake shouted down, his voice echoing. I can't, the old man yelled back, clutching his chest. You have to take the third bag. I'll walk up slowly, empty-handed. He began the climb, leaving the old man far behind. The silence of the hill was deafening. All Jake could hear was his own heartbeat and the crunch of gravel under his boots. This was the moment where he desperately needed the power of a quiet mind. He needed to stay calm and grounded. A tiny, quiet thought popped into his head. He's so far behind. He can't see me. This is where Jake failed to understand the power of focusing deeply on his values. I deserve this, he told himself. The world has been unfair to me. This is my payback. He started to run. His heart hammered in his chest. He locked the door, gasping for air, his eyes wide with madness. I did it. He laughed breathlessly. I'm rich. He ripped open the first bag. Stones. Just gray, useless river stones. His stomach dropped. He tore open the second bag. More stones. In a panic, he dumped out the third bag, the bag of gold. Rocks tumbled onto his floor. Dust filled the air. Then he saw it. A small piece of folded parchment paper. I am the king of this land. I wanted to find a man who was truly honest. Whether you want to find your path or need English listening practice, a motivational story in English is the best tool for English learning. Thank you for watching MetaBloom Stories. Until next time, guard your thoughts and take care.